Hey, welcome. So we've all been sold this idea, right? That for marketing to actually work these days, it has to be super complicated. You need more channels, bigger funnels, all this crazy automation. But what if that's just wrong? What if the real secret, your actual competitive edge, isn't adding more complexity, but finding radical, unbelievable clarity?
I'm just going to say it. Your marketing strategy is probably way too complicated. Look, if you've ever found yourself staring at some dizzying flowchart with a team that's totally burned out and a bank account that's just shrinking, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're doing all the things you're supposed to do, but it's just not adding up to real growth. Don't worry, you are definitely not alone.
Okay, let's really get into this because this belief in complexity, it's everywhere. It's this lie that tells founders and marketers they have to be on every single platform, chasing every new trend. And what's the result? Wasted money, exhausted people, and that constant nagging feeling that you're just doing it all wrong. It's time we called this out for what it is.
You've probably heard this quote before. It's from over 100 years ago, and it just perfectly captures that frustration of marketing waste. John Wanamaker, a department store pioneer, he knew he was throwing money down the drain. He just couldn't figure out where. It's a problem that's been around forever, but honestly, today it's so much worse.
So let's jump from Wanamaker's 50% problem to what's happening right now. Because we're not talking about half your budget anymore. Oh no, we're talking about a level of waste that can literally kill a startup before it even gets a chance to get going.
80%. Just let that number sink in for a second. For so many startups, a massive 80% of their marketing budget and their team's effort is spent on things that will never, ever deliver a return. That's 4 out of every $5 you spend, 4 out of every 5 hours your team works. Just gone. This is what happens when you chase the noise instead of focusing on what actually matters. Let me tell you a quick story to make this super real. It's about a founder from Sharjah who was this close to making a really expensive mistake. He runs a high-end corporate services company, and he was about to sign this huge contract for a super complex digital campaign. And on paper, everything the agency pitched, it sounded smart. And this is where it gets interesting. Take a look at the two different paths here. On the left, you've got the agency's big plan, expensive ads, complicated SEO, all targeting executives overseas. But see, his business isn't a quick online transaction. It's about building deep, profound trust for deals that are worth 6 figures. The real solution, you see it on the right. It was just hire a human, a senior business development specialist who could go out and build those critical relationships one person at a time. That one moment of clarity saved him tens of thousands of dirhams and completely changed the trajectory of his business.
So, how did he find that clarity? How do you find it? Well, it all came from answering 3 brutally simple questions. This is it. This is the framework that cuts through all that noise we were talking about. This is your way out of complexity and into focused, real growth.
Here it is, your entire go-to-market strategy right here. It all boils down to just 3 things. Who are you selling to? What problem are you solving for them? And where can you find them? That's it. Before you spend another cent on marketing, we're going to break these down. First up, who is your actual buyer? And no, I'm not talking about some vague persona like Marketing Mary that you downloaded off the internet. I mean the one single person who has the authority and, crucially, the budget to say yes to what you're selling. If you get this wrong, everything else you do is a total waste of time.
You have to be absolutely ruthless about how specific you are. I mean, write down their exact job title. For those of you in EdTech or higher ed, think about this for a second. For a school, is your buyer the head of admissions or is it actually the principal? For that new EdTech product, are you really selling to the head of department or is it the CTO who actually signs the checks? That single choice changes everything.
Okay, so once you know who you're talking to, you have to figure out what to say. And here's the secret. Your product might have 10, 20 amazing features, but your buyer, they only care about the one painful, urgent problem that's staring them in the face right now. So how do you find that one problem? You got to ask yourself, what is keeping this person awake at night? What is the one challenge that if they could just solve it would get them a promotion or make them a hero at work? That single, urgent problem, that is your marketing message. Stop listing features, just solve that one problem. All right, and finally, question number 3. You know who they are. You know their biggest problem, so where do you find them? I mean, where do they actually go to get advice they trust? And please, don't just say social media. That's not an answer. That's just lazy thinking.
We have to get specific. Which single LinkedIn group are they actually in, commenting and asking questions? Which one conference do they absolutely never miss year after year? Is there one newsletter that they actually open and read every single time it hits their inbox? Your ideal customers are already hanging out somewhere. Your entire strategy should just be to show up in that one place and be incredibly helpful.
So let's pull this all together. The answers to those three questions, your specific buyer, their single biggest problem, and the one place they trust for advice, that is your entire go-to-market strategy. It should fit on a single piece of paper, and I promise you it will be 100 times more powerful than any complicated flowchart you could ever build.
And that's really the bottom line here. Once you have clear answers to those three questions, you have everything you need. Every other channel, every other tactic, every other must-do marketing trend, it's all just noise. It's a distraction from what actually works.
So, I'll leave you with this question. I want you to take a hard look at your marketing plan right now. Based on what we just talked about, what's the noise? What can you cut from your strategy today, right now, to get that radical clarity that's going to lead you to real growth? Thanks for tuning in.